Veterans re-entering civilian life face many challenges, including finding a job. Hi, I'm Montel Williams. Welcome to this edition of Military Makeover Operation Career. Today, we have 4 inspirational stories of former servicemen and women who have reinvented themselves and are thriving at companies that value their unique skills. At Liberty Energy, they focus on freedom, energy, and opportunity to pursue dreams. Serving the greater good of mankind is something they and their former military men and women they employ understand all too well.
Shortly after I got out of high school, I realized my life was going nowhere. I was probably just smart enough to realize that college wasn't going to work. Friends were getting in trouble, and I just kind of knew I needed something to do. The military seemed like the right thing.
I really wanted to get into the military because I grew up on a farm and kind of grew up under a rock, so I really wanted to get out, meet other people. I wanted to travel, and it just really excited me to do that type of work and serve my country.
I signed up for infantry. My first 2 years after I finished School of Infantry, I got sent to Washington, D.C. I did color guard, ceremonial stuff.
When I reported to boot camp between my junior and senior year of high school, there was a lot of nerves, but I was excited. I got to meet different people from across the whole country. You know, it's a melting pot of different cultures, personalities, so it was very exciting for me.
We were on the western side of Iraq, kind of along the Euphrates River, skirting along that whole area. It got pretty heated at one point. I think it was the guy that took over for Saddam was injured in Ramadi. Then he kind of retreated to the area we were in, and things got pretty wild for a few months. In 2005, we were in Iraq. We did a small raid on this compound, and my fire team was the first ones in there. And we actually found 4 individuals who were still alive, but you could tell they'd been getting tortured for a while. And it was pretty bad. It was obvious they were in bad shape. We did get all 4 of them out alive, and that was pretty cool. And looking back, we can save some guys' lives. So after I got out of the military, I thought law enforcement would work. It didn't. I looked into firefighting and EMS. That didn't really work out. I kind of stumbled into fracking. I fell in love with it. Never wanted to leave.
So my first exposure to Liberty Energy was back in 2017. I had a friend that actually was an engineer and worked for them. And it was kind of a recommendation, like, hey, we're looking for good quality people. It's an awesome team, awesome company. And I interviewed and I got the job, and I started in the field as a field engineer. And it was just an exciting part of my time to transition to an awesome company like Liberty.
So in the shale revolution, the key transformation of oil and gas production is hydraulic fracturing. So we are a hydraulic fracturing company. We frack 15 to 17% of all the wells drilled in the United States and Canada. Bettering human lives. That's our mission. A third of humanity today still doesn't have access to basic hydrocarbons. They're heating their homes in huts and cooking meals burning wood and dung. We want to bring propane and clean cook stoves to 2.5 billion people. We're very passionate about bettering human lives, and we do that by bringing North American energy to North America and to the world.
The military community within Liberty is very strong.
The teamwork, that's probably the biggest thing that rolls over from the military to working in the at Liberty Energy.
After people, transition out of the military, they're looking for a similar environment on the civilian side.
There is a huge sense of camaraderie here at Liberty.
They're looking for the camaraderie at work. They're looking for the fulfillment of actually being part of something bigger, just like the military.
One of the things that I had a hard time when I got out of the military was the lack of structure in the civilian world. And here at Liberty, that's not something you have to worry about.
You have a team that you're working with. You really build those strong relationships, so you're happy, you're there for the other guy to your left and right.
Liberty and energy, 2 words, encompasses the 2 most important factors in creating the modern world.
Those guys that I've worked with that have been veterans have all kind of had the same story, like, hey, I was looking for that camaraderie, and I got that at Liberty Energy.
For the guys getting out of the military, I would tell them they could do what I did, waste 10 years of their life, or they could just get on board and come work at Liberty. Best damn frac company, period.
Liberty Energy is a great place to work. We are a family. The teamwork, the camaraderie, all those things that you felt fulfillment from in the military, we have here at Liberty Energy.
I don't see a day in Liberty's future where veterans are not major parts of the leadership and culture of this company.
Welcome back. DaBella, a recognized industry leader in home improvement services, is dedicated to improving the lives of homeowners. Not only do they use products made in America, they also rely on U.S. military veterans to facilitate their mission.
DaBella is a home improvement company specializing in the sale of roofing products, windows, gutters, and siding. Hi, my name is Carla Lyles. I'm the Director of Human Resources for DaBella Exteriors. So I joined with DaBella a year and a half ago. I am an active duty military spouse, so moved around a lot. My husband, who is in the Navy, he is a naval flight officer. Currently he's stationed in San Diego. He is part of the 3rd Fleet managing their schedules. When it comes to our military members, they have a sense of commitment, a dedication, and they're here for the bigger picture. It's not just about what they can get out of themselves or for themselves, it's what they can do to support the bigger picture, which is our core values: lead, care, grow.
Hi, my name is Josh Brown, and I am production manager here at DaBella Exteriors. I've been working here for 7 years. I've been in the Army National Guard for 16 years. I joined in 2007 as a 13 Bravo artilleryman. I moved up the ranks from private all the way to where I currently am as a Sergeant First Class in the Washington Army National Guard. I originally joined to get a free scholarship in college. Right after my unit was deploying, and I decided to skip my free scholarship and actually deploy to Iraq because I wanted to be a part of something greater.
The reason I joined the military was directly because of 9/11. We saw the towers collapse, and it was then I basically quit college and joined the military. I am Richard Kirkendall with DaBella Exteriors. I currently am the general manager of the Salt Lake City branch. I was in the United States Air Force for 7 years. I achieved the rank of technical sergeant, and I made the decision to join the Army as a logistics officer.
My name is Chris Jamerson. I'm a general manager in training here at DaBella. In the Navy, I was a damage controlman, 2nd class petty officer, and I was in the Navy for 4 years. I joined the Navy to be a part of something bigger than myself, to support and defend the United States. As a damage controlman, we are responsible for ship stability and any damages that can happen in combat on the ship. We had jets explode on the aircraft carrier, and there's thousands of people, and they're all stuck on this ship. So when it comes to being the first responder in a situation like that, there's a lot of weight, because you know that everyone's lives depend on you.
Going on deployment, like I said, it's kind of weird to think back to that stuff. It just all seemed to happen so quickly. I remember in the beginning kind of being scared because I didn't know what I didn't know, and then after that, it just became that you're doing something bigger. You're protecting, base, your brothers and sisters that are in arms with you, that are deployed with you.
My first time in Iraq, I got there in 2008, and this is where I actually hit my first IED. On Christmas Day, we had 34 mortars hit the base. On New Year's, we had 24 mortars hit the base. So lots and lots and lots of fun. At least that's the way I described it. It was definitely an interesting time, but it also made me appreciate what I have today, which is everything: my life, my family, the civilian job, all the things that I can appreciate in life.
Being a father, it's super important. That's kind of my why. That's why I do this job. That's why I was in the military.
The military to the civilian transition isn't always the easiest. A lot of our current employees have been down that road, and fortunately they've stuck with us because, like I said, it's difficult to know what it is that you want to do once you get out of the military without having the opportunity of trying different career paths.
Find a company that wants to grow people. I got lucky by finding DaBella because they truly believe in leadership and teamwork, and the only way their company is able to grow like it has is because we actually grow people and not just grow the bottom line.
Getting out of the military was kind of tough for me. It was when you're adult life, that's more or less what you know. So I was lucky to find DaBella.
One of the things that drives DaBella's success in the home improvement space is our people. We truthfully believe that the success of our organization is fully and wholly on our people. So that's why we focus a lot on our leadership, because without their dedication, without their drive, we wouldn't be where we are today.
Any vet that asks me what I think about working at DaBella because they're looking at coming to work here is congratulations. You found the spot you've been looking for. The dreams that you had transitioning out of the military, it's all here.
Today, veterans building their way to a better future. We recently visited Lane Valente Industries, who employ our former servicemen and women, affording them the opportunity to use their skills and successfully craft careers in construction. Everything from electrical, EV charger installations, project management, and HVAC.
My dad was actually a Korean War veteran. He was a school teacher, but in the summers he did electrical work for years and years, and I learned from him. Started the company just before I was 20. When it first started, it was in my mom's kitchen, and it was predominantly residential company, small jobs, local, and over the years we've expanded a little bit. The essence is the same thing. It's basically, you know, you hire good people, you develop talent, you give people some control over what they're experts at, and if you get the right people, you do well. Lane Valente is a national, international now, company with offices throughout the US, Canada. We just opened up an office in Puerto Rico. The hope would be that all these different markets have a need, and we can get veterans to come in and interview in each regional office that we have, because there are numerous spots available for them now. These would be a group of people that are diligent, hardworking, adaptable. We're getting the best of the best that we're bringing in, but also has the advantage of being the right thing to do.
My experience in the military was amazing. Ever since I was in 7th grade, I wanted to be a Marine. I used to go to school dressed in camis, because that's all I wanted to do was just serve my country. A lot of my friends had college. In their mind, for me, I just wanted to get out of school so I can join the Corps. When I came out of the Marine Corps, you have to understand that my job in the Marine Corps was shooting a lot of weapons. I was very efficient in that, but there's not a lot of jobs when you come out to the civilian world that's going to be, unless you can, go for be a police officer that requires that. All these jobs that I went to was like, you don't have the experience. I actually had one lady say to me, just go back to the Marine Corps. I was just like, wow, it was a shock to me. I got into Lane Valente. I knew George prior to me joining Lane Valente. I used to coach his daughter in travel softball. And he approached me and said, Dan, I got a position open for recruiting manager. I think that you'd be a great fit. You got the military background. That piqued my interest. And from right there, I knew that was something that I wanted to do. And I've been here a little bit over 8 years, and I haven't yet looked back.
In this role, one day you could be working at a supermarket, and the next day you're doing a charger at a Tesla location, and then you're going on to a project at an airport to do something. So you have to be adaptable, you have to work with what you have in front of you, and these are skill sets usually that the veterans have greater than the general population. I
have the opportunity to give people employment and have, so they can provide for their families. So that's something that just gives me joy, that knowing that at the end of the day, that I had the opportunity to give somebody an employment opportunity. Military people put their lives on the line every single day. The least we can do is offer them employment with great benefits.
World-class companies need the best strategic minds to drive future growth. That's where our veterans shine. Today, we visit a global leader in selling and distributing food and non-food products to thousands of restaurants and institutions. A huge undertaking, but it includes a workforce that has many veterans, and they are definitely up to the task.
Houston, Texas, home to big oil, big football, and Sysco Corporation. Selling, marketing, and distributing food and services is just another day in the life for this culinary giant. Let's see what it takes.
My name is Tim Jackson.
My name is Eric Scott Young.
I'm a transportation supervisor here at Sysco.
Transportation supervisor, Sysco Foods.
I work in the delivery service center, so I take phone calls from salesmen and drivers, any problems that they have.
I'm partly in the field with the drivers, partly in the office, making sure that the drivers are operating safely on the roads. I'm a morale booster.
Keeping morale high while making, marketing, and moving food is an enormous and complex endeavor. Sysco Executive Vice President for Supply Chain, Marie Robinson, explains.
Sysco is the global leader in the selling, marketing, and distribution of food product. So that would include restaurants, schools. You think about hospitals. Sysco would support all of those entities, and we do that with 58,000 associates.
As an Army veteran who ran supply chain logistics while in the military, she's no stranger to the unique talents transitioning veterans bring to the task of feeding the world.
What was life-changing for me was knowing so clearly that your work was part of something so much bigger than just yourself. And that's very similar here at Sysco.
So I get to help people all day long. That's what I love to do when I was in the Army. It's fulfilling at the end of the day and talk to my wife and just say, you know, I was able to help this guy do this today.
Much like in the military, you know, you have your objective and get that mission accomplished.
Even though a military mindset is beneficial to Sysco's smooth operations, it's the transition out of the military that can be challenging for many veterans, including Sysco colleagues.
My transition experience, it was difficult, but I had a very similar path to these guys. So I left active duty and I took a job as a supervisor on a night shipping dock. And I'm kind of going, where's the training class? Who's going to teach me how to do this? And that part of the transition was, it was the most disorienting for me.
Well, it is a very stressful, very high tempo transition process. It's easy to get into the Army. It's hard to transition out of the Army.
My transition experience was a bit difficult. A lot of the mannerisms, the vernacular that you have, they don't really translate into the civilian world.
No matter how difficult the transition may be, their sense of pride in their services is always front and center.
Joining the Army for me was bigger than myself. It goes back into helping people, and the Army is one of the best ways to do that because you're serving your country and you're serving your community, and that idea I really loved.
I was 19. I joined the Marine Corps, and then my first duty station was in Okinawa, Japan. So I worked mainly with landing crew on beaches, the engineers on the airstrips, loading up the C-5 Galaxy, the C-130s.
If I hadn't joined the Army, I would have never met my wife. It paved the way for the way I'm living my life now and who I get to do it with. I'm extremely proud of it. My family's extremely proud of it.
I picked the Marine Corps because I didn't have that discipline, and I knew that the Marine Corps is where it all was. And they have really nice uniforms.
When you're deployed in a war zone, even all these years later, it still runs through my mind as if it's a movie. Those memories are that vivid.
Sysco as a company really appreciates the military, veteran and still serving community that we have.
And because of that, it is not about me. It's about the drivers, the transportation supervisors, our frontline associates who are out there every day making this great company continue to move and go forward and grow.
It's a family-oriented, goal-oriented company. And for a lot of veterans, that's what they need, for greater purpose than themselves.
I would say that we are taking good quality food, good quality people. We're really just having a good time feeding the world.
Sysco, hiring veterans to help feed the world.
Great to see that after sacrificing so much to military service, today's veterans have found careers where they've been able to shine. I'm Monta Williams. Thanks so much for joining us in this episode of Military Makeover Operation Career. We'll see you next time.